Yeah, yeah. Making her way to the mic. They start dimming the lights. You start feeling alright. From Birmingham, home of the Teddy Longs, and the room is stutters. More once you discover. For all of the lovers, Whitney Houston and Roman Reigns. For all of the lovers, and Mickey James and Marvin Gaye. For all of the lovers, and Sasha Banks, Janelle Monáe, Silk, Sonic, and Paige. Allow me to say, look, I just found a place, sweet escape. Every one of us, I was kinda late, cause I just made it off the struggle bus. Walking by the fate, cause I know it's right in front of us. Yo, I ain't with the hate, gotta focus on what's great. Ladies and gentlemen, Steph Hardy is on the air. Had to drop a couple bars just to make you all aware. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. You know I go by Joe or the rest of the flow, yeah.
Yo, yo. Hey, y'all. It's your girl Stephanie of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast, HWP Extra, and Steph and Cat Talk Well before you on this Monday evening. I'm so happy to finally be in front of y'all. Work was work. I'm a little tired, but we are here. And I'm so grateful for those who are watching live on all platforms and who will listen to this later when they get a chance. But I am so happy to be before you guys to talk about everything that we have witnessed within the past 48 hours. This wrestling life has gotten crazy, real crazy. And I am here to hold your hand and talk through these complicated feelings that we are having together. So if you're watching, thank you so much for watching because I know Raw's about to come on in another hour. But there are just so many things I want to discuss that had to do with this weekend. And so for those who are watching live, please chime in the comments and tell me how you are feeling about everything we witnessed from this past weekend. So of course, for those who don't know or for those who are listening, this past weekend was Elimination Chamber. And that is, of course, is a pay-per-view that is the final pay-per-view on the stop to the road to WrestleMania. They had it in Toronto this year at the Rogers Center, which used to be called, I believe, the Toronto Sky Dome. And yeah, it was a really big deal seeing as, like I said earlier, it was the final stop on the road to WrestleMania. And of course, they had two matches for the women and the men to qualify for a championship match at WrestleMania. And it was an amazing pay per view. Now last year they had it in Australia, and the time difference was a little um it took some getting used to, but at the same time, it was still a really good pay per view. And this year really upped the ante for what we can come to expect from these pay per views from here on out. So I was definitely really enthralled and really excited from what was presented to us. And we will get to that ending in just a little bit. But something that was very interesting and amazing for me was just how the pay-per-view started, which is basically how I format every episode of the Hardy Wrestling Podcast. Which is where they started with the women first. Both women's matches actually wound up being at the top of the card, and they were both pretty good and really amazing for in terms of just what was going on story wise and what was going on match wise and action wise as well. So, as we get into it, let's start with the women's elimination chamber match. I really loved all of what the girls were able to give here in terms of their gear choices and in terms of the action, like I said, and it was just really great. So, to start off, we have to start with Bianca Belair, the EST of WWE, and Naomi, her tag team partner and former women's tag team champions, coming out in gear that was inspired by none other than Beyonce. In her Beyonce Bowl performance from this past Christmas, which was the first time she had ever performed any song from Cowboy Carter in the public eye, and their gear was definitely patterned after it. Bianca did have a cowboy hat on with a fur coat that was a little bit shorter than Naomi's, but both of these women definitely gave Cowboy Carter energy, and I just loved every part of their gear. And also you'll notice that because the gear was not only paying tribute to Cowboy Carter, they were both in white, which I thought was a very interesting choice in terms of their characters and what they were beginning to represent. And also Liv Morgan came out in sort of a shorter crop top version of Dirty Dominic's vest that he wears with the skeleton with the ribs cage. So that was really cute too. And they were all basically dressed up in white. So as the match gets started, before we even get started, Naomi is in the ring with Liv getting ready to start, and up pops the theme song for Jade Cargill. And all you hear is a storm is coming, and you see Naomi and Bianca looking kind of lost. And of course, in the background, which is something that has been dissected on social media, you see Bianca taking off her jacket because she's still in the pod because it's not her turn to enter the Elimination Chamber match yet. But you see Jade coming out in this gorgeous, almost dominatrix like outfit in all black. And then if you look closer, her contacts are all black too. And she comes out here with her white wavy hair, and she looks like she's going straight for Liv Morgan, right? But as she's mouthing the words, I know it was you, as it turns out, she doesn't go or make a beeline for Liv Morgan. She starts beating up Naomi, which is just crazy at first because both of these women, both Bianca and Naomi, have maintained that they just didn't know who attacked Jade, and they were looking for justice, trying to figure out who could have done this. And it was easy for them to pin it on either Nia Jax or Candice LeRae or even Tiffany Stratton or even Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. But all of those women maintained that they did not do it, right? But because they did not do it, and people have been speculating for almost weeks and months at this point as to who did it, two of the top suspects were actually Naomi and Bianca. So to see Jade attack Bianca, I mean, I'm sorry, but to see Jade attack Naomi the way she did was savage and absolutely brutal. And it left a lot of people shook, including, as you can see in this picture, Alexa Bliss, who just did not know what was going on. And it was so sad when they put the camera on her face like this because she was just like, oh my God, I just don't know what's going on. And I was like, gagged myself because that beating was absolutely brutal. Jade went on to break Naomi's neck with the chamber door as Bianca was screaming in absolute horror at what was going on, saying, oh my God, that's my effing sister. What are you doing? Just so many things. And honestly, if this woman was ever nominated for an Emmy, then this is the performance that she would submit because she was distraught and screaming the whole time. But what's so incredibly strange is that in the midst of that, in the midst of everybody online sort of blaming Bianca for having attacked her, Jay did not look at Bianca not once. She did not go after Bianca not once. After she attacked Naomi, she just got escorted out by security and the referees. And Bianca went on, of course, to participate in the rest of the match. But nobody expected her like to participate in a substantial way because she was just very emotional and distraught from what was going on. And then what's so bad was you had Liv Morgan saying, oh, I told you I didn't do it. I told you I didn't do it. It's your fault. It's your fault. And Bianca was telling her to shut up and all of that. And honestly, I don't even blame Bianca for telling her to shut up because how you gonna get in my face and talking about how everything's my fault when the judgment day themselves are knocking on death's door as we speak? But we're not gonna get into that right now because this is about the Elimination Chamber match. And it was just so dramatic to start off. But Oh my God. Jade Cargill is back with a vengeance, honey. And everybody just needs to watch out and stay out of that woman's way. So, yeah. As the match continues to go on, Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair had an encounter, and then they both climbed up on top of an Elimination Chamber pod. And as Liv was trying not to fall, she was pulling on Bianca's braid. And if you know, the cardinal rule of when it comes to black women's hair is that you don't touch it. And of course, Liv, broke that rule. So Bianca proceeds to whip her with the belt, with her braid, and she falls down. And this is the first time we have seen Bianca really whip somebody in a minute, because she likes to use it when it's special, or at really important moments where where the person is really grating or getting on her nerves. And she popped the crap out of Liv and left a mark on her abdomen, as you can see, and it was lit to see. I really felt like Bianca extended Black History Month with that whip to Liv Morgan. But either way, like, I was really thrilled that that happened, because I do miss whenever Bianca just doesn't use it for a while. I just be like, man, I don't want it to become like a habit, but I do miss it from time to time when she doesn't. So when she does, it's like, yes. So yeah, Liv was knocked out and she sustained hella bruises throughout this match. And a lot of people are calling her the MVP because she did last from beginning to end in this match. But yeah, she sustained a lot of damage. But it was great. And as we move forward, Bianca Belair would go on to win the Elimination Chamber match, becoming the first woman to ever win the Elimination Chamber twice, um, two times. And now she will go on to WrestleMania to have a guaranteed singles title match at WrestleMania against either Liv Morgan or Io Sky, because of course they have to have their title match tonight on Raw on Netflix. So I'm very excited for this. I am really refreshed to see Bianca back um in the singles division, because she that's really where we've gotten to know her and we've seen her shine the absolute most. And as cool as it has been to see her in a tag team with two powerful women who are just as dominant and just as iconic as she, it's nice to see her get back into the fold for like world titles. And then on top of that, when it comes to her record at WrestleMania, she is currently undefeated. You really is at the point now where we said it as a phrase, but it's really our reality now. You cannot spell WrestleMania without EST. And she has won every match she's been in WrestleMania. Now, of course, it depends on who she's facing for the Women's World Championship to see if that continues. But I am really excited about it, because the last time we saw Bianca go up against Io Sky on an episode of Raw, it was absolutely fire. They put on a classic for women's wrestling on free television or streaming. Uh, and it was just really amazing. So it was really cool. But then you have Bianca and Rhea Ripley, who have this history dating all the way back to NXT. And the last time they faced each other for top gold in NXT, it was at TakeOver Portland 5 years ago. So, to see them reach this point and now being able to possibly fight each other again, I'm really excited about that too. So, big ups to Bianca for winning it, especially under emotional duress, because Miss Ma'am was stressed and going through it. But after the show and on the post show, she did talk about how she really just wants answers, because both of these women are women that she looks up to, and women that she loves and admires, and all she wants is answers as to why Jade would have attacked Naomi in the way that she did. Is it possible that that Naomi is the attacker? What's going on? And all of the above. And she said that this victory was bittersweet, but I guess we just have to wait and see. And I have seen the conspiracy theories online stating that the reason why Bianca was acting that way was because she had devised a plan all along, and making it seem like she put Naomi up to attacking her because she was jealous of her or whatever. But I just don't see Bianca being that vicious. I feel like this is a woman who we've seen attack um people and attack women backstage when she's had a problem with them. This is the woman who came up to Zelina Vega's house and attacked her when she was on Twitch with Kayla Braxton. So I just don't think that she's the type of woman that would just up and just be sneaky about it. Like if she's got a problem with you, she's just gonna come up to you straight to your face. So I just don't see her doing that. Um, so yeah, it's just really crazy. I just hope that if this is, I hope that Jade and Naomi personally, I hope that they just have a match and that Bianca can just solely focus on either Rhea or Io at this point. But yeah, all the conspiracy theories have been really crazy, but the facts are the facts, and that's just that Bianca is now the two-time Elimination Chamber winner, and she's going to WrestleMania. And Jade attacked Naomi, and maybe we'll have more answers on Friday. But either way, this was an amazing segment. This was a great match. Roxanne and Bailey and the other women did a fantastic job. So I'm here for all of this. Moving forward with the other women's match, we had Team TS Squared, Trish Stratus, the Hall of Famer, and Tiffany Stratton, the women's champion, going up against Nia Jax, the former women's champion, and Candice LeRae. This match was pretty good in terms of tag team action. Tiffany and Trish kind of worked together relatively well outside of that one moment where it looked like Tiffany was trying to like move Trish out of the way in some spots. But either way, this match was pretty good. It was amazing to see Trish Stratus in her gear that was paying tribute to the Toronto Maple Leafs, the hockey team. And yeah, just seeing her amongst her kinfolk in Canada was just really amazing. So that was cool. And then of course you had Tiffany in matching gear as well, but of course giving off the Tiffany energy, holding up the title. Um and because I was watching this with my um future mother-in-law, future grandmother-in-law, and my boyfriend and his best friend and his wife, we were singing the theme song together for Trisha's song, and it was like really funny and just a really cool moment to have with friends. And then Tiffany comes out and she does her beautiful primping posing thing. So this was great for what it was, and Nia and Candace's outfit was pretty fire too because they were like it was like a lot of stripes going on and it was just really cute. And yeah, I was something that Mr. Black from Jobber Tears, shout out to them, mentioned was the fact that this might have been in terms of a larger opponent, this is probably the largest, probably the biggest opponent that Trish Stratus has ever had size wise. And I thought that was really an interesting tidbit to think about because when you think about all the women that Trish Stratus has fought against, they've either been like her height or a little bit taller or a more muscular build. But yeah, Nia Jax is just one of those imposing women that you just can't, look away from. And the fact that Trish was fighting an opponent as imposing as her 25 years in her career is just really insane to think about. And it's just really good to see Trish Stratus out here with younger talent like Tiffany Stratton and just um kicking butt, and just showing that she really doesn't have any ring rust at all. She trains, she does yoga, she does all these amazing things to keep herself young and in shape. So it's just really cool. Also, someone else on social media noticed that since Trish Stratus is celebrating her 25th anniversary in wrestling, um, Tiffany Stratton is 25 years old. So in that aspect, you have someone whose wrestling career has lasted as long as Tiffany Stratton has been alive. That's amazing. That's just crazy. And now they're together in a wrestling ring. They both fought tooth and nail, but in the end, Team TS Squared wound up getting the upper hand over Nia Jax and Candice LeRae and winning. So now Tiffany can finally put Nia Jax behind her in the rear view and she can prepare to face off against her new opponent at WrestleMania in Charlotte Flair. her mother. So I'm really excited about this. But either way, I was happy that both of these women won and looked good doing it. And that Trish was able to fight in front of her family because she said that this will be the first time her kids would ever see her wrestle. So I hope they thought that that was cool to see their mom in the ring. And now Tiffany can check this off of her list of things that she's accomplished in her short time in WWE. I tag team with a Hall of Famer. Now, there's a part of me that's waiting for them down the line to have a fight, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that one. But this was great. I liked it. Now, moving on to the craziness of the men's division. We had Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in the feud that will last forever until they die. And I'm more than sure when they go to heaven, they'll still find a wrestling ring to fight each other into. They fought each other in an unsanctioned match. And of course, since both of these men are from Canada, not from the province of Ontario itself, not from Toronto, but because they're Canadian, everybody was cheering for basically both of them, but mostly kind of, I guess you could say for Sammy a little bit. I couldn't really tell because I was in a full house. So either way, this unsanctioned match was wild. It was the stuff that hardcore lore is made of. These men tried to kill each other and tear each other apart. Um, and of course, if you know the history of these men, they definitely went back and showed you every time they fought each other from Ring of Honor all the way even down up until this point. And what was even more sad for me personally as a wrestling fan was watching these two fight each other after they showed the footage of them winning the undisputed tag team titles at WrestleMania 39 in LA. And that match where they fought against the Usos to win those titles, I was there for that. I witnessed that, and saw them, hug and make up so they can beat the bloodline in this way, only for them to wind up fighting again. And it's just like, God dang it. Why can't y'all just be consistent in y'all friendship? Please stop crashing out against each other. But they just can't help it. It's just fighting, fighting, fighting. I mean, I know it's natural for friendships, but Jesus, all the time? Please. I'm just waiting for them to just fix their issues. I'm just a peaceful person. I don't know. But this match was very good. It was very violent. As you can see, you have Kevin Owens using a hockey stick to try to like choke out and break Zayn's jaw. He was even biting his face. It was low key giving that TikTok sound where you have the cat doing the diabolical laugh, like ah ha 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 ha. Ah! Like that's basically what it was giving, and that's not even the last time we would see something like that in this night. But this was really diabolical. Like you try to choke him out with a hockey stick in Canada. But that's the lengths that they were going to. Then on top of that, you had Sami Zayn try to destroy Kevin Owens with a barbed wire chair. Barbed wire chair, really? And then he bumped him into it, but somehow or another, Kevin didn't bleed because I guess he's made out of iron somehow. He didn't bleed. I feel like he bled more in his match against Cody at the Royal Rumble than he did in this match, which is nuts to think about because Sammy crashed this man through two tables with soda cans and popcorn on them. And then you get hit with a barbed wire chair and don't really bleed that much. Like when they do that, it was just so funny for me. Like, bruh, it was brutal. And I believe at one point, Sammy even got pushed into two tables that were stacked into each other. And then Kevin Owens took advantage of that and proceeded to um, pop up power bomb Sammy onto the apron, which is his favorite thing to do to him since the NXT days, which of course triggered more harm in his neck. And then he also put a chair on top of Sami Zayn's neck and ran the chair into a ring post, therefore hurting him further and counting him out. And Kevin Owens wound up winning. I would definitely say that Kevin Owens needed this victory because he had been losing quite a bit, especially in that Royal Rumble match against Cody Rhodes for the title. After he got Alabama slammed, Alabama slammed through that ladder. But a part of me low key felt like this. rivalry wouldn't be over just yet, because I just feel like it wouldn't be over until Sammy got his pound of flesh and ended things, as the victorious babyface we know him to be. But lo and behold, we got the second surprise of the night in the form of Randall Orton. He made his grand return in order to get his lick back onto Kevin Owens for injuring him months ago. Um, and I was just on the floor. I was just like, oh my God, are you serious? This is oh, because Kevin was low key feeling himself after he had beat Sammy. So I guess he thought everything was okay. He was like, I heard Sammy, I heard Randy, everybody's gone, right? Wrong. Randy came back with a new jacket and everything, which is really cute. And he made his entrance and he ran down to the ring and proceeded to beat up on Kevin Owens. He even gave him an RKO, but then he started to go to a place where he really started hearing the darker voices in his head. The darker voices in his head. And you can tell that he was preparing to go back to like Legend Killer Randy from back in the 2000s and punt Kevin Owens. And security was already out there trying to break them up. But then at one point, they had dispersed or whatever. And then Randy proceeds to keep beating up Kevin. But then in the midst of that, he gets ready to punt him, but then security decides to just scoop themselves right back into the ring to try to break them up. And when I tell you, I have never been so irritated at the referees and and the security in my life. I was so irritated because I'm just like, look, one time for the one time I wanted to see Randy Orton punt Kevin Owens just to get his get back. And then y'all just got in the way and ruined it. Come on now. Come on. Give me what I want. But I know what they're doing. I know they're trying to like savor it and just help us wait until that moment. I get it. But Jesus, it was right there and we almost had it and we lost it. But it's okay. I was thrilled. I was bummed out that Sammy lost, but I was thrilled to see Randy Orton back because man, he had been through a lot when it came to the whole Cody Rhodes Kevin Owens thing. And now after the person who said he was his friend injured him, yeah, he's ready to fight. And I don't know if this means that both of them are going to be fighting at WrestleMania, or maybe it's going to be like a triple threat situation with Kevin, Sammy, and Randy, or maybe Sammy's just going to be off recovering and chilling before, you know, well, while WrestleMania is going on, and then it's just going to be Kevin and Randy. I don't know, but either way, this gave me everything I needed, and this was cool. So, welcome back, Randy Orton. Randall Keith, Randall Keith. Thank you. So that was cool. Love it. And then, right when security broke them up, Randy decided that he was going to RKO everyone. I mean, all the security guards, like all of them. It was like Oprah up in there. You get an RKO. You get an RKO. Everyone gets an RKO, and that's exactly what he did. He gave everybody, all the security and RKOs. He was like, "Fine, since y'all want to break me up and not have me beat up Kevin, I'll beat all y'all up." And that's exactly what he did. Gotta love that energy. Gotta love it. So we get to this main event in terms of in ring competition. We get to the men's Elimination Chamber match. And of course, you got Damian Priest, Logan Paul, Seth freaking Rollins, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and John Cena, all fighting for the chance to face off against Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship. Oh my gosh. Malcolm, thank you for watching. I'm going to acknowledge your comment a little later. So, this match was pretty awesome. It started off with Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre. They had had their moments on Raw where they were jaw jacking at each other, but of course, Drew McIntyre has been moved to SmackDown. Seth Rollins is still on Raw for the most part. But I do want to give a shout out to Seth Rollins and his fashion. Mr. Man knows how to dress up. Like, I need y'all to look at this. Look at this. When he came to the arena, this is how he looked. Had the ruffled shirts and the leather pants with the sunglasses. Mr. Man was fresh coming in the arena. But then as soon as you look up, as soon as you look up, when he gets to the arena amongst the people for the match, he comes out in this purple suit that a lot of people said made him look like Gengar from Pokemon. Some other people said he looked like SpongeBob after the Goofy Goober concert in the first ever SpongeBob movie. Either way, he was slaying us. And let me just say, as a TikTok lover, I absolutely enjoy those TikToks that wrestling fans make where they put Vogue and ballroom music behind his his entrances of the past. It is so funny. Like, ballroom culture and ballroom music um from the LGBTQIA plus community just makes everything better. Just 10 times better. And to apply it to pro wrestling, which a lot of people argue is a spectacle of drag and is a spectacle of gayness, is just amazing for me. And Seth representing that as, a fully straight man who just likes to be fashionable is just amazing in this day and age to see. And I hope he just keeps it going because I just enjoy it. Even though CM Punk told him that he looked like an oven mitt Friday, I don't care. I love it. I love his extravagant fashions. Book him for the Met Gala this year. And if you don't, I will riot. Either way, he dressed up really well. So as the match goes on, Drew McIntyre surprisingly was the first man to get eliminated. I forgot by who. So if you're watching in the comments, if you want to tell me, um, please remind me. But Drew got eliminated really fast, and I was like, "Holy cow!" And he was looking real shook too because he is always on this quest to main event WrestleMania in front of people and win in front of folks like he's always wanted and stuff, but it just seems like he can't ever get it right because he's just blinded by his own mess and he just couldn't make it happen this time. So he was the first to get eliminated. He looked absolutely distraught and he left after that. So there's no telling what's going to happen with him, even though I have a great theory that I will go into a little bit later. But Mr. Man was out and he was the first one out. Then you had the Logan Paul of it all. Now, y'all know I do not like this man. Um, I've given him his credit multiple times as a great wrestler and as someone who, just started this a few years ago. He's really good at it. But I feel like a lot of his antics over the past year outside of wrestling have really like grated my nerves in terms of, what he possibly stands for. And a lot of the time, he just gives off a very privileged energy that just irritates me. And so now he's up in here, in this match, which I really feel like this spot really could have gone to someone else, but whatever, we're here. Um, and he's in this match and he's just being extra. And then on top of that, he wrote OVO, if you can see that in that picture right there, if you're watching. He wrote OVO with a marker on the glass because Drake, who wasn't announced with the other celebrities, was sitting right behind commentary at Elimination Chamber because, of course, he's from Toronto. And Little Yachty was there too, and he invited him, along for the ride because, on Instagram, somebody found where they had an interaction talking about, how Little Yachty told Drake, like, look, you need to come to a show. But then Drake was saying, yeah, I'm sold and stuff like that. And I'm all for new fans coming in. But considering over the past year, we've watched Drake get mollywopped from here to Kalamazoo by Kendrick Lamar, watching him and knowing that he was at the show just kind of irritated me a bit. And I low key wanted Kendrick to just pop up and just be like,
Say Drake, I hear you.
just Just saying, just pop up on him and just scare him a little bit because I mean Kendrick is a wrestling fan too. He in Not Like Us, his number one song that just won like 5 Grammys, that he performed at the Super Bowl halftime show. Like he literally said sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Like why hasn't Kendrick popped up at a wrestling event? Why hasn't that happened just yet? I mean, I'm pretty sure he has other stuff to do, but still, he has a tour to plan. He has a family, and I understand that. But if Kendrick Lamar can just pop up at one of these, I'll be happy. And if him and Drake popped up at one of these at the same time, it would go like this.
Say Drake, I hear you.
I'm petty, but Logan writing OVO. Okay, whatever. They're ruined. But moving on, Logan showed out a whole lot. He even hit a frog splash onto Damian Priest to eliminate him, and he hopped off of CM Punk's elimination pod because, of course, him and CM Punk had gotten into it last Monday on Raw, and then he slapped him in his face and ran off. But CM Punk was able to get back at Logan Paul and hit him with the go to sleep and eliminate him out. So at that point, it was CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and then John Cena. They were the final three left. And when I tell you, this is so crazy to look at now because of what happened, but this put me in my feelings. Watching John Cena and CM Punk say to each other, "Hey, I missed you," and then CM Punk says, "I miss you too." And then they hug each other like this just did something to my soul in a very sweet way. Like seeing them stand in front of each other like that was just something I never thought I'd ever see again. Because of all the ways in which we know CM Punk left and everything happened the way it did. I just did not think we would ever see these two face to face in this way again. And it has happened backstage, we've seen them talk and stuff, but to see them in a ring did something to my 2010 soul. Like these two were fierce rivals because, of course, at the time, John Cena represented everything CM Punk was against. I mean, he told him in his famous pipe bomb, like, I like you, a lot, and I respect you, but I hate the idea that you are the best when I'm the best. And they really had a war of words back in the day. Like CM Punk called John Cena the New York Yankees. And you don't say that to a person from Boston. So they destroyed each other back in the day. And then CM Punk took the title off of him and ran away only to come back and say I'm the real champion. So it was just a lot. And Vaughn in the comments is saying Cena and Punk have great chemistry. Oh, absolutely. Even still now. Because even after they hugged each other, they started punching each other and fighting, and everybody was locked in. But yeah, it definitely gave me the vibes again. And I was like, man, what is happening to time? And what is happening to aging? Oh my God. Oh, my feelings. But yeah, these two fought each other back and forth. And then, of course, Seth tried to get in on the fighting. But then there was one point where even John Cena and CM Punk worked together and hit a heart attack, which is a tag team maneuver made famous by the Hart family. And they lifted John Cena lifted Seth Rollins up on his shoulders, and then CM Punk hit him with the clothesline, and then they eliminated Seth Rollins just so they could be the final two. And Seth Rollins didn't like that. He was on the verge of crashing out. And because he was on the verge of crashing out, when John Cena had um when CM Punk was trying to like crawl away from John Cena, who was trying to submit him out, Seth Rollins fully crashed out and gave CM Punk a curb stomp, which knocked him out because he did it right on the steel of the Elimination Chamber. And that was really savage. He was staring at his work and then he was staring through the bars looking like he was like, yeah. if I can't go to WrestleMania, you can't go. And this is continuing their rivalry on, and it's just gonna be messy after this point. Because y'all know CM Punk has been trying to main event WrestleMania for ages now, and Seth is just keeping him from it constantly. And it's just, oh my God, it's so heartbreaking. But the thing that I noticed immediately when it happened was John Cena noticing what happened with CM Punk with that curb stomp and dragging him in to lock him in the STFU. It's like CM Punk was already dazed from getting kicked in the head and having his head bounce off the steel. But he pulled him in a desperate move that we hadn't seen from John Cena before and locked him in the STFU so he could pass out. Because Punk didn't tap out. Let's be clear, he did not tap out. He passed out because he couldn't take it. And John Cena won the men's chamber match. And it's interesting because we've never seen John Cena be that desperate or pulled to that desperate of a tactic in order to win a match. That made me feel like something was wrong because how? Because usually he'll wait till a person comes to or tries to wake them up so he can win it the right way. He didn't do that this time. But I was still just, I was chill inside when it happened, but a part of me was like, that's interesting that you did that. But he's celebrating. John Cena gets to go to WrestleMania to face off against Cody Rhodes for the championship so he can try and win his 17th one as he's on his way out. Cool enough, right? Something that, we were bigging him up for wanting to accomplish in his retirement year. Didn't win the Rumble because Jey Uso won the Rumble. Now he's winning Elimination Chamber after he said and threw himself in there and said that I don't have to qualify for it. Now he's in it. Now he's won it. We thinking everything's fine, everything's chill. But we had a problem. Shout out to Zevi. We get to this segment. Undisputed WWE champion Cody Rhodes gives his answer as to whether or not he's going to give his soul to the final boss, The Rock. So, John Cena's still in the ring, and Cody makes his entrance and he shakes his hand, saying, yeah, we're going to fight each other. And, it's been well documented how much they respect each other and how Cody looked up to him as wanting to be the face, just like John Cena was of the company. The Rock comes in, makes his entrance in sort of like a retooled version of his theme song with the intro to Fiend from Travis Scott playing because Travis Scott comes out with him because he's living his dream at this point. So he's having a good time. He's out there looking like, the mafia boss's thug friend. And so he comes out there with him. The Rock asks Cody, have you made your decision? Are you going to give me your soul? Because if you don't, the American Nightmare, won't live forever. Well, no, he said, if you give me your soul and give me your mind, the American Nightmare will live forever. But if you don't, your dream will die. And he was savage enough to say again. Because, of course, if you watch SmackDown Friday, you saw that The Rock was savage enough here again to put Dusty Rhodes' death date on a weight belt, on probably made of the same weight belt that The Rock was using to beat up Cody Rhodes with last year on the road to WrestleMania, and put Cody's soul on the weight belt in big letters and put his father's death date underneath it. Which to me is a killing offense because you just ain't finna mess with my family, but we're just gonna be quiet about that. So Cody looked at him and said, look, I want it all, Rock. I gave my heart and my soul to this ring and to these people a long time ago. Hey, Rock, go F yourself. Now, of course, I'm saying this censored version. He told him to go F himself. And it was unedited too. So it was just really like, it just hit the ears like with a shock value. Like, whoa, Cody Rhodes used the F word, but then he's used the B word before on Raw. But still, you're just not used to it. He doesn't do it all the time. So the fact that he did it was like, whoa. So, The Rock is standing there looking all surly or whatever, like, okay, fine, you said no. But he doesn't look worried either. So, as Cody Rhodes is proud of himself for standing up to The Rock, and the cameraman gave this shot, which definitely parallels the look that Cody was giving The Rock when he seemingly gave up his WrestleMania main event last year in Birmingham, a year removed. It's crazy. Timing is nuts. Shout out to D Vargas on Twitter for pointing this out. Nuts, right? So John Cena daps him up and hugs him after he was being happy about the fact that Cody stood up for himself, but the cameraman zoomed in on John's face, which fell and got dark real quick. And after it got dark, what did John Cena do? With The Rock going like this, as if to say, slit his throat. John Cena attacked Cody Rhodes, kicked him in his hoo ha, beat him up with the Rolex watch that was given to The Rock by Cody on WrestleMania weekend last year, and knocked him upside the head with the belt. Travis Scott, who was saging in the corner, proceeds to beat up on Cody Rhodes' face even more. He chokes him with his tie. And then, of course, The Rock takes the weight belt and smacks it across Cody's back. Y'all, how is this the world in which we live? How is this the world in which we live? How? When I tell you, when The Rock did this, not The Rock, when John Cena did this, I yelled and fell to my knees. I fell to my knees because Mr. Hustle loyalty and respect has been good. Has been a good guy since 2002. 2002. That was forever ago. And not even just forever ago. To put this into perspective for you, in 2002, I was turning 8 and my sister was about to turn 1. So basically, John Cena has been a babyface the entirety of my sister's lifespan. The entirety of it. And a good chunk of mine. I'm 31. That's a long time. Over 20 years. A good guy. And then you're taking shortcuts. You're being desperate for a win in your last year so bad that you would sell your soul to the man who you were beefing with for 2 WrestleManias? What? How is this our Earth? Vaughn in the comments saying 2025 is an alternate universe. It feels like it. And I thought it felt like an alternate universe when CM Punk came back. This right here is nuts. It's next level craziness. John Cena, the guy who holds the record for the most wishes made for children who are ill, broke the hearts of everybody, every child, every person who loves baby faces, including myself, to go bad so he can win his 17th championship in his retirement year. And the thing about Michael Cole is, I know a lot of people on social media were saying that it would have been funny if it was, JR reacting to it like back in the day when he used to cuss out Triple H and cuss out Eric Bischoff and all of that. It would have been funny in that way. But I'm glad that Michael Cole has the clarity and the training of broadcast journalism while also mixed with the fandom of professional wrestling while also knowing these people, because the way he called this when it happened and the emotion he showed should not go unnoticed. This man literally said the S word on commentary. When was the last time you heard someone on WWE commentary say the S word, number one? And number two, asking the legitimate question as to why John Cena needs to do this. Why does he need to sell out? And the short answer is he doesn't need to sell out because John Cena has everything. There are people who are in WWE right now who are probably in NXT or Evolve or in on LFG right now who would love to have even a quarter of the career that John Cena has had. A quarter of it, a third of it even. But he is out here selling out to be the corporate champion for The Rock at WrestleMania, possibly. He doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to act like that. But somehow, for some reason, he chose to do it. This broke my little girl heart. And as an adult, I can appreciate it. But the little girl in me from the 2000s that used to scream for this man, that said at one point I wanted to marry this man because he was fine, I'm broken. I'm broken. I'm distraught. My knees are bad because I fell on the floor. It was too much. It was too much. My heart is broken. And that was a crazy way to end it. And this was probably one of the best pay-per-views of wow. And what's so crazy is this is March. There are so many other pay-per-views and so many other stories we got to get to, but my God, what a way to kickstart us down this road that we're about to go on to Las Vegas. It's nuts. But oh my God, John, why did you have to do this? Why? It hurts so bad. It hurts so bad. Mm-mm. I understand that you hadn't gotten any wins in a minute, but baby, you ain't got to stoop this low. Mm-mm. Not only is 2025 an alternate universe, it's the year of the crash out. There are multiple wrestlers in WWE on the verge of crashing out for various reasons. But I think I'll get into that on the next episode. But this was nuts, and I just had to come on here and talk about that. Like, this is a major event, and it's such a major event that other sport platforms are posting about it and talking about it, like baseball, like so many other places. But Jesus, ESPN, like it's bad. It's really bad, y'all. And here they stand, all three of these men, The Rock, Travis Scott, and John Cena, proud of their work as Elimination Chamber went off the air. What is happening to us as a society? Where John Cena is a bad guy. We have enough bad guys and not enough good guys. And he decided he wanted to be bad. Help. Help us, Jesus. Now, another thing I did want to discuss is the fact that since The Rock facilitated this mess, he facilitated this mess. It's crazy how he popped up at Bad Blood in Atlanta, shocked the crap out of me, shocked my socks off, and popped up after the tag team match with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes against Solo Sikoa and I believe Jacob Fatu, if I'm not mistaken. He pops up, after Roman and Cody have their little stare off, and He goes like this and does a countdown with the three fingers. My brilliant boyfriend, I don't know if he's watching right now, mentions to me last night after the turn, is it possible that he was telling us that John Cena was going to turn back then? And I was like, so you mean this was supposed to be like a backwards hustle, loyalty, and respect? And he was like, yes. And I'm just like, that blew my mind because I've been trying to actively find the answer as to what this meant since it happened to us, since it happened to me. Like, why? Why did you pop up out here like this? And what's so crazy is a lot of people were like, did it stand for the three in terms of Roman, Cody, and Jimmy? What did it mean? And I was like, why? And then what's so crazy is on social media, there was a story that came out in dirt sheets that said that his appearance at Bad Blood Atlanta actually didn't mean anything and there were no plans for him and everybody took it and ran with it in a negative way. And a part of me was just like, okay, well, I guess I mean we'll just wait and see what happens. But this actually had a purpose. And then he goes like this at John Cena with the two fingers and it just freaks me out. And then, of course, you have Jimmy, who helped Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes in that match at Bad Blood. And then, of course, if you watch the promo that The Rock cut when he was walking backstage after Bad Blood, he was talking about how there was some stuff going on, even though he didn't say stuff that he didn't like. So, was him at Bad Blood talking about all the stuff he didn't like a way to tell us and telegraph to us that he is actually going to send people after Cody, Roman, and Jimmy? And who could these people be? And in my mind, okay, since I'm thinking like, okay, so if John Cena done crashed out and turned bad, I'm thinking I guess he's going to send people with personal beefs or with crash out energy after these other two in terms of Roman and Jimmy. And I'm just throwing this out here. I think he's gonna send maybe Seth might sell out to The Rock and he's gonna go after Roman, even though he does have his stuff with CM Punk. I don't know how that's gonna work, but either way, he might send Seth after him, and then he might send Drew McIntyre after Jimmy because they've had words back and forth on SmackDown over the past few weeks too, and just make him a little crash out crew. So that's just my theory. Now, of course, if I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. I promise. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just think it's funny how he came out there and did the three, and then when Cody was attacked, he did the two. So who's the one? Are you sending other people? I don't know. Crazy work. Crazy work. And it's so funny that everybody online was saying, "Oh, well, it didn't mean anything. The Rock was just doing this just because he wanted to just show up and, be the diva and blah 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 blah." He said, "The lies you tell." And they socked us in the mouth with the greatest heel turn of all time. F Hulk Hogan. This is the greatest heel turn of all time. Sorry. Jesus. Um. So yeah, this might be the Crash Out crew. The Rock really might be sending people after Roman and Jimmy after what happened. I don't know. Vaughn, thank you for that. I'm not currently watching it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to hear what's going on. So, Cody is sad about what's going on. He is absolutely distraught. They left on the post show with a bleeding face. He's really like sad and bummed out. And then John Cena shows up to the press conference. Shout out to all of my friends who were at the press conference. Muscle Man Malcolm from Muscle Memory, Emily May, my work mom, Joel from Contralona, everyone. Like, shout out to all of y'all for being there in Canada, like, for real. And so John Cena pops up at the press conference, takes the mic off of the mic stand, and drops the mic and just walks on out. Crazy work. Crazy work. And Bray Wyatt was right. And shout out to Adam Barnard, who wrote the article for Screen Rant detailing all the ways in which the Firefly Funhouse match from 5 years ago at WrestleMania sort of showed what would have happened if John Cena had turned heel after WrestleMania 30. Thank you so much for that, because that was the article that triggered me to thinking, like, what if, John Cena decided to turn heel? But I sure as hell did not think it was gonna be like this. I just didn't. So Bray Wyatt was right, and I wish he was here to see it, but he's looking down from above. So rest in peace to that man. But Jesus Christ, it's nuts. So as it stands now for WrestleMania, we have our big title matches somewhat set. Tiffany Stratton will be fighting Charlotte Flair for the WWE Women's Championship. This is going to be fire mother versus daughter. I wholeheartedly believe that Charlotte actually sees a parallel, sees herself in Tiffany Stratton, so this is going to be cool. Tiffany sees maybe the older version of herself here, but it's great. I like this, and I'm happy. We have Rhea possibly. Well, no, we have Bianca Belair possibly fighting either Rhea Ripley or Io Sky, depending on how tonight goes on Netflix. We have, yeah, we have Jey Uso versus Gunther versus for the World Heavyweight Championship. And if you've seen any of the posts that Jey Uso has been making on Instagram lately, we might be getting a different version of him, and it might not be Yeet either. It might be a dark Yeet. I don't know, but either way, Gunther might not need to underestimate this man anymore. I don't underestimate him because I believe in him. And I'm happy he won the Royal Rumble. And I hope he wins the title, because if he doesn't, then I will riot. I will riot. I will slap at Jey Uso. I love him. So, yes. And of course, we got Cody versus John for the undisputed WWE Championship. And this is going to be a mess. So, I just had to get on here and talk about my emotions with everything. And I know I'm relatively late. It's just simply because I had to work. But either way, I just wanted to get on here and discuss my feelings about everything that has happened. Thank you guys so much for continuing to watch live. I know Monday Night Raw is on, so I'm going to let y'all get back to that. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode with me. And hopefully, we're going to hold each other's hands and get through this road to WrestleMania, because it's going to be a wild one, clearly. Um, Speak out, share your emotions in a healthy way. Don't argue and tear each other apart. Celebrate Women's History Month, because that's going on. Um, Love and appreciate on women's wrestling this month, but always definitely. And just, yeah, just have fun, because WrestleMania is supposed to be a fun time, and we're just supposed to be enjoying this time. So, and go on the ride, and don't just try to like nitpick everything to death, and just enjoy it. Just please enjoy wrestling. If you love it, enjoy it. And that's all I have to say about that. So, of course, thank you for watching this show. If you want to follow me, your girl Stephanie Hardy, you can do so on Instagram and Twitter at Queen Steph Hardy. You can watch the show on YouTube at The Hardy Wrestling Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified every time I go live or post something new. Watch all of my interviews from the Royal Rumble, and even watch the ones from Money in the Bank last year. And just get those numbers up if you want to, and watch everything else I've got going on. New changes are happening pretty soon, so be on the lookout for that. As well as, follow the Hardy Wrestling Podcast on Instagram at Hardy Wrestling Podcast, and on Twitter at Hardy Wrestle Pod. And also read my articles on Daily DDT. My newest article was about how Naomi needed to win the Elimination Chamber, but of course that was released before she got attacked by Jade Cargill. So it's a celebration of her talent and what she would have had to have given if she was in a title picture at WrestleMania. But of course, things are different. But either way, I don't feel bad about writing that article. Some guy on Instagram tried to tell me to delete it. I'm not deleting it, it's published. I have published work. I can't just delete it just because something doesn't go away. Shout out to Raphael for letting me write always, and write all my words always. And yeah, My stuff is out there, so please read it. And of course, if you're interested in booking your girl for ring announcing, for commentary, or to be a panel at a convention for wrestling or whatever, then book your girl. DM me or email me at hardywrestlingpodcast@gmail.com and we'll figure out rates. But in the meantime, in between time, of course, a new episode of Steph and Cat Talk Wow will be coming out this week. We're doing a double again, and there's drama on that side too. So please be on the lookout for that. And just continue to support me wherever you see me because I might be anywhere. And unlike John Cena, I won't be turning heel anytime soon. I am still a baby face, and I will still maintain that for as long as I can. So yeah, thank you for watching and listening to the Hardy Wrestling Podcast with your girl Stephanie Hardy. And until next time, bye y'all. Be good.